Right now, as you're watching this video, $50 billion is moving in complete silence. Not to New York, not to London, not to Singapore, to a city most people associate with twin towers and street food. And here's what terrifies the old financial establishment. The world's most secretive banks, institutions that have hidden the wealth of kings and dictators for 3 centuries, just made a bet that could destroy everything we thought we knew about global power. I'm about to reveal something that took me weeks to piece together from Swiss banking documents, leaked regulatory filings, and conversations with sources who've never spoken publicly. What you're about to discover isn't just about money moving across borders. It's about a forbidden truth that could reshape your understanding of where real power is flowing in the 21st century. By the end of this video, you'll possess knowledge that less than 1% of people understand about the hidden crisis forcing this seismic shift. You'll see through the illusion that Western finance still controls the world, and you'll gain a competitive advantage in understanding where opportunities will emerge over the next decade. But I need to warn you, once you see what I'm about to show you, you can't unsee it. Let me ask you something. If you were a Swiss banker right now, someone whose family has protected billionaire secrets for generations, what would keep you awake at night? Here's what they're not telling you on CNBC. Switzerland is facing an extinction-level event, and it's happening in slow motion. For over a century, Swiss banks operated on a simple principle. What happens in Zurich stays in Zurich. Rich families from Asia, the Middle East, Africa, they all sent their money west because they didn't trust their own governments. That one-way flow of wealth built an empire worth over $2 trillion. But 3 forces just converged to destroy that model forever. Force 1, the death of banking secrecy. In 2018, something unprecedented happened. Switzerland, the fortress of financial privacy, surrendered. Under pressure from the US and EU, they agreed to automatic information exchange. The numbered accounts that protected wealth for centuries, gone. The anonymous vaults, exposed. By 2023, Swiss banks had shared details on over 3.7 million accounts with foreign tax authorities. The sacred trust that made Switzerland special just evaporated. Force 2, the Asian wealth explosion. Here's a number that should terrify Western banks. By 2025, Asia will hold more millionaires than North America and Europe combined. We're talking about 6.2 million high net worth individuals controlling over $26 trillion in assets. And here's the kicker. They don't want to send their money to Zurich anymore. A 2024 UBS survey revealed something shocking. 73% of Asian millionaires now prefer keeping their wealth within a 3-hour flight from home. They want their wealth managers to understand their language, their culture, their family structures. They want proximity, not a 12-hour flight to Switzerland. Force. 3. The geopolitical fracture. The world is splitting into competing blocks. US sanctions, Chinese capital controls, European regulations. Swiss neutrality, once their greatest asset, is now a liability. When you're caught between Washington, Beijing, and Brussels, being in the middle means everyone is pressuring you. Swiss banks realized something terrifying. They were becoming obsolete, so they made a calculated gamble. A $50 billion bet on a country nobody saw coming. Now, before you start thinking, oh, they chose Malaysia because it's cheap, stop. That's exactly what they want casual observers to think, because the real reason is far more strategic and far more shocking. Let me take you inside the closed-door meetings where this decision was actually made. Picture this. The top executives from Julius Baer, UBS, and Credit Suisse sitting in a Geneva boardroom. They've got one question on the whiteboard. Where can we move before Singapore dominates Asia completely? Not Hong Kong. Too much Chinese government control after 2020. Not Tokyo. Aging population, rigid culture, language barriers. Not Bangkok or Jakarta. Regulatory frameworks too unpredictable. Then someone mentions Kuala Lumpur. And here's where it gets interesting. Malaysia has 5 advantages that even Singapore cannot match. Advantage 1, the Islamic finance gateway. This is the piece most analysts completely miss. Malaysia isn't just competing with Singapore for general wealth management. They're cornering a $4 trillion market that Singapore barely participates in, Islamic finance. The global Muslim population will reach 2.2 billion by 2030, and they need financial services that comply with Sharia law. Malaysia is the world's leading center for Islamic banking, with over 60% of global sukuk issuance happening there. Swiss banks looked at this and saw something brilliant. They could serve wealthy Middle Eastern families, Indonesian tycoons, and Malaysian royalty through one hub, something impossible to replicate in secular Singapore. Advantage 2, the cost arbitrage. A Swiss private banker in Singapore costs $300,000 annually. The same talent in Kuala Lumpur? This isn't just about saving money, this is about margin expansion. When you're managing $50 billion in assets and you can reduce operating costs by 60%, that's an extra $1 billion flowing straight to profit over a decade. Advantage 3, the regulatory sweet spot. Now, this is going to sound controversial, but hear me out. Malaysia offers something that mature financial centers can't: regulatory flexibility during a growth phase. Singapore's regulations are so tight that launching new financial products takes 18 months of approvals. Hong Kong is trapped under Beijing's oversight. Switzerland itself is drowning in compliance costs. The average Swiss bank now spends 15% of revenue just on regulatory compliance. Malaysia is at that Goldilocks moment, regulated enough to be credible, flexible enough to be attractive. Their Securities Commission has been actively working with international banks to streamline approvals while maintaining oversight. Is this risky? Absolutely. But for Swiss banks trying to innovate and compete with fintech, that flexibility is oxygen. Advantage 4, the talent pipeline. Here's something that surprised even me during research. Malaysia produces 35,000 finance graduates annually from universities teaching in English. They're bilingual or trilingual, speaking Malay, English, and often Chinese or Tamil. They understand both Western corporate culture and Asian family business dynamics. And crucially, they're hungry. Singapore's financial sector is mature and saturated. Malaysia's is emerging, which means ambitious young talent sees opportunity for rapid advancement. Advantage 5, the political desperation. This is the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to say out loud. After the 1MDB scandal destroyed Malaysia's international reputation, the government is desperate, and I mean desperate, to prove they've cleaned up. They need foreign validation. They need success stories. That desperation translates into red carpet treatment for Swiss banks. Fast-tracked licenses, tax incentives, government support, infrastructure investment. The Malaysian government has committed over $2 billion to building out the TRX financial district specifically to attract international banks. Swiss banks are exploiting that desperation brilliantly. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but what about the corruption? What about 1MDB? Isn't this just going to end in disaster? That's exactly where most analysis stops. But that's also where the most important part of this story begins, because the risks aren't what you think they are. Let me show you what's really at stake here and why this matters to you personally, even if you're not a banker or investor. This isn't just about Switzerland and Malaysia. This is about a complete reversal of a 200-year-old pattern. For 2 centuries, wealth flowed one direction, from colonies to colonial powers, from developing nations to Western banks, from Asian businesses to European vaults. That flow built London, Geneva, New York. That flow created the world order we've lived under our entire lives. But right now, that flow is reversing. Asian wealth is staying in Asia, growing in Asia, demanding to be managed in Asia. And what Swiss banks have recognized, before most people have, is that the future of global wealth management is not in the West anymore. By 2030, analysts predict 65% of the world's high net worth individuals will be in Asia Pacific. If you're not positioned for that shift, you're going to be left behind. Now here's what this means for you, watching this video right now. If you're in your 20s or 30s thinking about your career path, the financial services boom in Southeast Asia is just beginning. The skills that will be in demand aren't just technical, they're cultural. Swiss banks need people who can bridge worlds, who understand multiple cultures, who can translate not just language, but business practices and relationship dynamics. These roles will pay 2 to 3 times median salaries, and they can't be automated by AI. We're talking about relationship managers, compliance specialists, wealth advisors who understand family office structures across different cultures. If you position yourself now to build these skills, language, cultural fluency, financial expertise, you're setting yourself up for a decade of opportunity. If you're an investor or business owner, when $50 billion flows into a city, it doesn't stay in bank vaults. It leaks into real estate, luxury goods, hospitality, professional services, education. Property values around financial districts increase by 40 to 80% over 5 years. Demand for international schools, premium healthcare, high-end services explodes. Understanding where money is flowing gives you a 5-year head start on opportunities. If you care about the future of power in the world, this is about something bigger than money. For the first time in modern history, the geographic center of global wealth is shifting away from the West. The institutions that manage money shape policy, influence governments, determine what gets built and what doesn't. If Asian wealth is managed in Asia by Asian-focused institutions, that fundamentally changes the balance of global power. But here's the question nobody's asking, and it's the most important one of all. Will Malaysia actually pull this off? Or will this $50 billion bet end in another scandal, another broken promise, another cautionary tale? The truth is, there are 3 possible futures here. Future 1, Malaysia succeeds, regulations hold, standards improve, KL becomes a legitimate alternative to Singapore for Islamic and Asian wealth management. Thousands of high-paying jobs get created. A new generation of financial professionals gains world-class expertise. Malaysia diversifies beyond commodities and manufacturing. Future 2, Muddled progress. Some banks succeed, others pull back. Growth is slower than expected. Regulatory issues create occasional scandals without destroying everything. Malaysia makes progress, but never achieves the breakthrough optimists hope for. Future 3, catastrophic failure. A major money laundering scandal destroys international confidence. Regulatory weakness gets exposed. Political instability creates policy reversals. Swiss banks quietly withdraw. Empty office towers and broken promises remain. Which future happens isn't predetermined. It's being decided right now by Malaysian policymakers, Swiss banking executives, regulators, and voters. But here's what I know for certain. The old world order, where all roads led to Geneva and New York, is dying. The question isn't whether power will shift to Asia. The question is which Asian cities will capture that power and what they'll do with it. Switzerland just placed its bet. $50 billion says Malaysia is the answer. The real question is, are you paying attention to this shift? Because the people who understand this transformation 5 years before everyone else will be the ones who profit from it in career opportunities, investment returns, and strategic positioning. This isn't just a story about banking. This is about reading the hidden currents of power before they become obvious. This is about seeing the future before it arrives. And that is exactly why I created this channel, to decode these hidden shifts in global power, and economics that mainstream media either doesn't understand or does not want to explain. If this video changed how you see the world, I need you to do something right now. Subscribe and hit that notification bell. Because next week I'm releasing an investigation into another massive money movement that could affect your financial future even more directly. Drop a comment right now answering this. Do you think Malaysia can actually become a major financial hub? Or will Singapore always dominate Southeast Asia? The world is changing faster than most people realize. The only question is whether you're going to see it coming.